So we're going to have a chat today about the Section 275 of the Criminal Procedure Scotland Act, and an issue that you have certainly been speaking a lot about. So will we start with you just telling us how it is that that's an issue that you're concerned about and what you've been doing recently?
Sure. So I started doing trials in the High Court in the year 2000, and between 2000 and about 2022, probably conducted around 100 rape trials, something like that, and became increasingly concerned that the restriction on questioning, which was being applied by the judges, was having an impact on the fairness of the trials. Obviously became aware of the fact that I was not the only one with these concerns. Most of the talk in the common room when people were complaining or, complaining about their lot in terms of being trial lawyers, probably 90% of those conversations were about questions which were not being allowed in rape trials. And I just became increasingly disillusioned with the whole process. That was the main aspect. There were other aspects, and ultimately I took the decision that I would make it public, that I wasn't doing any more rape cases, and I had the intention of researching the 275 question properly, and at some point speaking about it or writing about it. That process actually took quite a long time because I stopped taking on rape cases, I think in 2022 actually, but obviously I had some. It take about a year to get through the system, as you know. So I took the view that it wouldn't be right to speak about the issue until I was completely free of any cases, and just in case anybody thought I was trying to get some influence in the cases which were to come. So I did that, and actually what triggered the most recent developments is the Royal Faculty of Procurators in Glasgow asked me to do a talk and said I could really talk about any criminal law topic I wanted. And that was the perfect time to do it because I knew I would do the research. And having done the research, something quite extraordinary happened because there were lawyers in attendance at the talk, but there was also principally women from groups who were concerned about miscarriages of justice. And I spoke to them after the lecture, and clearly they are concerned that in the trials that they know of involving their partners and their sons and their nephews, that there were questions which were not allowed to be asked. There was material which was not allowed to be put in the trial. And then I started to get letters from prisoners who say I'm in custody and I wasn't allowed to ask this, and I've got an appeal and no lawyer's prepared to touch the appeal. And generally it's spiralled to a level where it's clear there is substantial public concern that men in Scotland are not getting fair trials in some situations. And the principal concerns are either, one, that the lawyers are not being allowed to ask questions which are relevant. And secondly, a subject which I think is sometimes overlooked, it's restricting the ability of the accused to give evidence in his own trial because, once it's been decided that the issue cannot be raised, not only can the lawyer not question on the issue, but the accused no longer allowed to speak about it. And that creates a slightly unreal situation where the accused is essentially giving evidence to try and, keep his life on track and has been interrupted because the judge has decided that a particular issue is not something that the jury are allowed to hear about. So that's where, that's the journey in a nutshell. And the last couple of months, more and more of my time has been occupied with responding to inquiries from media organisations and members of the public who are concerned about this issue.
Yeah. So I suppose, as you've said there, as lawyers, we have for some time seen the impact of this Section 275 and the restrictions and questioning. And as you say, the gown room, if you walk into a gown room across Scotland that are dealing with sexual offence cases, that inevitably is going to be the topic of conversation.